This is ABC 7 News, Chicago's #1 news with Jose Sanders, Judy Sue, weather with meteorologist Tracy Butler, and Roz Barron's traffic. This is ABC 7 News this morning.
And there are new calls for Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. to drop out of the race, and they come from candidates trying to unseat him in the election. This after the Wall Street Journal reported Jackson is the subject of a federal criminal investigation. Authorities are looking into whether he improperly used campaign money to decorate his Washington home.
They were using the campaign as their own personal piggy bank. And we're saying there are people out here that don't even have houses.
Frankly, the voters put him on the ballot, and I think it's going to be up to the voters for them to decide, is this acceptable?
Jackson is being treated for bipolar disorder and has not worked since early June. Neither he nor the Justice Department had any comment on this report. Much more on this story coming up and the potential legal implications for Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. We will be talking with legal expert attorney Thomas Glasgow coming up. But first, our legal expert looks at the potential charges that could come from a federal investigation into Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr.
Well, as he faces re-election in a few weeks, we're learning that Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. is now the target of a federal investigation and whether he improperly used campaign funds. Earlier, we talked about the potential impact on the congressional race, but what about the legal ramifications should charges actually be filed? Our legal expert, attorney Thomas Glasgow, joins us now to talk to us about that. Good to see you, Thomas.
It's good to see you, Jose.
So where do you think this investigation came from in the first place?
Well, I think the investigation itself came from when they put the house on the market. You've got a representative who's making X amount of dollars, and you've got a home that went from in the $100,000s to the millions. The question became, when the pictures were placed on the internet, how do you appoint a house like that so that it goes from, several $100,000 to the millions and millions of dollar range? That particular issue of how he appointed that probably led to this investigation. If you recall, they pulled the pictures of the home immediately for security concerns, and as such, that's when the federal investigation is alleged to have begun.
So why is all this just now coming to a head? I mean, just because those pictures were placed there, or had somebody already been looking into something regarding the congressman?
Well, the accounts that are monitored by Congress, the House accounts where they get to utilize funds that are doled to them for personal expenses or for office or et cetera, are always monitored by Congress. This is probably some of the things that stemmed out of investigations in Washington from the House Ethics Committee that was still investigating Jesse Jackson Jr. in relation to the sale of the seat here in Chicago for Mr. Obama. Now, whether that actually is the case, the prosecutors are being very tight-lipped about. They're not divulging how the investigation came about, but that would be my guess.
If they indeed file charges after this investigation, what potential charges could the congressman actually face, and would these charges be filed before the election?
Well, the potential charges that could be filed are probably conspiracy, mail fraud, depending on whether or not he spoke to federal investigators and lied about it, lying to federal investigators, all of which could carry a penalty of 5 years each, depending on how they went down the line. If you recall, Senator Edwards, when he took campaign donations that were larger than the amount allowed by law, the last count was lying to federal investigators. Same thing happened with Blagojevich. It remains to be seen exactly what they're going to be charged with, because they haven't leaked a lot of details as to the investigation. Whether this will come about prior to the election is an issue that the federal investigators and the federal authorities have said, look, we understand that you'd like it to happen after the election. However, we're going to go on our schedule. And this is probably a very, very quick schedule, because this is a paper case where they just simply subpoenaed documents from his personal accounts, from his campaign accounts. You put 2 and 2 together, you follow the paper trail, and it's very, very easy to prove.
All right, Thomas, thank you very much. We'll be following this one, I know. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right now, it's time for us to check.